With 60,000 filmgoers, sold-out screenings, and more ticket sales than the last 2 years, the 33rd San Francisco International LGBT Film Festival was a smashing success. Roberta, how many of the 226 films did you get to see?
Well, I only got to see 4 of them, but Raymond Donald Hong tells me that he came across someone who went to 40 screenings at the festival. Now that's about 4 programs back-to-back of watching movies, and that's a lot of time spent looking in the dark.
That's true. Raymond has the recap of the film festival with the voting results of the audience favorite awards for Best Feature, Best Documentary, and Best Short Film. And we'll find out the winners later on Outlook Video.
By now, most of you have seen the film Milk, and you may remember one of the characters as Dan Nicoletta. He was one of the original founders of Frameline, organizers of the San Francisco International LGBT Film Festival. Back then, home movies were shot on 8mm film and projected on a bedsheet to be shown to a handful of friends. Now, 33 festivals later, it's grown to 4 theaters and 60,000 patrons across 11 days, culminating in today's closing night party with food, drink, and awards.
The newly renovated Terra Gallery at Harrison and First Streets is this year's venue for the closing night party, where people sample cocktails and feast on a selection of culinary delights from Brandy Hose. And attendance at the festival has been higher than each of the past 2 years. Frameline Executive Director K.C. estimates that there are about 40 to 45 different film festivals in the Bay Area, making San Francisco a vibrant environment for filmmakers and filmgoers.
And some of the things that have come to mind for me about why we have this tradition here in San Francisco is that the city's always been a place for independent filmmakers. So it's had a long reputation for that, along with the film schools here, of attracting filmmakers and underground filmmakers and independent filmmakers to the Bay Area. And that with some of the film festivals that have been here and have been here a really, really long time.
I think it's because the quality of the films just keeps getting better and better. And I don't just mean, of course, the quality of the filmmaking, but the storylines as well. And I think that it's just become this cultural institution here in San Francisco. I mean, what better way to spend a Saturday afternoon but standing in line with, thousands of other people who love queer film. And then it just feels so great when you're in the Castro Theater and it's just packed to the gills with, your people, and you're all laughing and enjoying or crying, and feeling the films all together. And it just really brings that community, and I think people, they crave it and they come back every year. I know I'm always there. I always sit and watch with the crowd as well every year.
But I always feel like film is the way that the society changes, where you communicate through stories and fiction and nonfiction, amazing, important stories of our lives. So while I believe in newspapers and do newspapers, I always have been a lover of film and always wanted to do a movie as a way to inform society about our community.
Well, I suppose it would be the diversity that there's films here from all around the world, that there's cultures, gay, lesbian, transgender, that it really represents the whole diversity of our experience as people, and that's what I really enjoy.
And after the ballots are counted, Frameline announces this year's Audience Award-winning films.
The best short in the festival, and the winner is Lucha, directed by Maria Bro.
The Salvadoran Civil War in the 80s is the backdrop to Lucha. Over 80,000 people were killed during this conflict between the Salvadoran military and the left-wing liberation movement. 2 women spend what is possibly their last night together in this film by Maria Bro that won the Audience Award for Best Short.
Yo estoy comprometida a 3 cosas en este mundo. 2, mi gente y Dios. Dios no anda armado.
¿Dónde está Dios ahora?
En este cuarto.
All right, our next
Sports is one of the areas where discrimination against gays and lesbians is still prevalent. The case of Penn State women's basketball coach Renee Portland and her blatant policy of kicking out lesbians from the team is outlined in training rules. This film by Dee Mosbacher and Fawn Yacker is the winner of the Audience Award for Best Documentary.
While Renee Portland denied Jennifer's accusations of homophobia, other players from previous years also felt that they had been victims of discrimination at Penn State.
Loose ball to Machako. She got a 3-on-2 to Wicks. Wicks, the freshman, and it's good.
If I could relate Penn State women's basketball to any period of time, I would relate it to the McCarthy era.
Homophobia in sport is an issue that's pervaded the sports world for decades. It's particularly acute in the world of women's athletics. These are kids who have spent their whole life working towards this goal. I don't know how to describe that feeling of heartbrokenness that we hear from so many of these young kids. It never, ever occurred to them that their ability to play basketball would be judged by what they do in their private life.
And the best feature of the Audience Awards goes to Patrick, age 1.5.
And finally, from Sweden and winner of the Audience Award for Best Picture, Patrik 1,5, Patrick age 1.5, is a romantic comedy about a gay male couple wanting to adopt a child.
Vi har fått ett barn. Vi har fått ett barn! Ja, vi har fått ett barn. Det är Patrik 1,5. Vadå 1,5? 1,5 säger man ju. Patrik 1,5 söker en familj. Patrik har en trasslig bakgrund och är i stort behov av stabilitet, kärlek och omvårdnad. Kan komma till månadsskiftet om ni väljer att acceptera erbjudandet.
But because of a misplaced decimal separator, what shows up at their doorstep is not a 1.5-year-old infant, but a 15-year-old homophobic juvenile delinquent.
Jaha. Tack så mycket. Du är ny, va?
Vadå? Many of the over 200 films in the festival will get their regular theatrical screenings throughout the coming year. To find out more, point your web browsers to frameline.org. For Outlook Video, this is Raymond Donald Hong.